Okay, so hi everybody. This is the Postman Visualizer More Than Meets the Eye session with Orest Danilovic. I hope I said that as close to right as possible.
Close enough.
My name is Amelia. I am the MC from Postman. Just a couple quick things before we get started. On the right-hand side of your screen, there's a session tab. Under that, you'll see a Slido tab. That's where I encourage you to put any questions you may have during Orest's presentation. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for introducing me, Amelia. I appreciate it. So as you noted, I work at Westfield Insurance as an information security engineer, and I'm also the host and creator of a YouTube channel I started called Dev Odyssey. So as you see, Postman Visualizer, this is going to be more than meets the eye. A little bit about me. So I received my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, so I don't have an IT background in particular. I do have a background through internships and my jobs, but a lot of the inspiration I have to create my YouTube channel was to help teach others the same way that I was taught. So I know a lot of people don't come from an IT background, but they're interested. So this is kind of my way of giving back to the community that really helped raise me to be where I'm at today. I started my IT career as a technical support engineer. A lot of that helped me with troubleshooting, testing, and trying to explain technical concepts to in English, I guess you can say. I started using Postman 2.5 years ago at the same company I'm at now. And I don't know if you know anything about financial companies, but the tools they use are generally antiquated. And so when we started using Postman, I kind of blew my mind because of how well it works, how the UI is. It makes it easier to use. My gripes with other tools are they just have so many nested settings, and you can't find things. So I love Postman, if you can't tell. I'm a triplet, so there's two others of me. I have a brother, he works in SEO. He also worked in IT, but transitioned to more of SEO, and my sister's a nurse. And as I told you earlier, I'm the host and creator of Dev Odyssey. So if you guys can go to the polls tab or button, and I'd like you to go to the bottom poll first because they're in kind of out of order. But I want to see what you guys think of what you think is Postman Visualizer. So if you go ahead and click there, I'll give you guys like 10 seconds if you can do that. Let's see if I can show my results. Huh. Well, I'm not sure if people are answering. I can't actually see the results for some reason.
I can share results. It looks like 73%, 71% now, 25 votes for a way to view responsive data, 2 votes for a Postman web browser, 8 votes for Postman's API visualization companion, and no votes for HTML tables extension.
Okay, thanks for doing that. I appreciate it. That's kind of the breakdown I expected. Actually, a little bit surprised on some of them, but I'm going to get more into a lot of these answers as I go through the next slides. So I'll go to the second poll and last poll that we have is what have you done with Postman Visualizer? That second poll is at the top of this list, so everyone can go ahead and answer that. Wait, do I click show polls? Okay, I'll do that just to make sure it's actually there. I'll give another 10 seconds, and then Amelia can jump in and we can see the results.
Okay, I'll jump in. It looks like the results are stagnant. So we have charts and graphs with 2 votes, tables with 1 vote, nothing with 35 votes, and something else with 5 votes. So pretty much nothing.
Ah, okay. Awesome, great. Well, you'll get to hopefully see the whole gamut of things that Postman Visualizer can do. So I'm excited to. So I'll go ahead and move on. So I'm going to touch on that one answer that I had is the API visualization companion. what Postman, in my opinion, really is, or excuse me, Postman Visualizer is a way to see, and not only see, but interact with your data that you get in your Postman responses. So, you can do charts and tables and graphs, but there's definitely way more ways to actually interact with it, where you can click on things and hover over things, and it shows you responses. So as I noted, with Postman Visualizer, it really makes your responses come to life. It takes bland data and makes it cool and meaningful with visuals and interactions. But it can also help you build front-end web tools and enhance your API development workflow and your testing workflow. So this is one of the first examples that I've done with Postman Visualizer, and actually my first Postman, my first video on Postman Visualizer. I'll go ahead and run this GIF here, but I chose to do a visualization of stock market data using MarketStack and Cheerio.js. And the way I actually made this was I simply deconstructed a default template of Postman Visualizer they had in their Learning Center, and I threw in a financial market API, and then I kind of just hooked the data points up and created this video. So with this, I think it's really powerful that you can monitor and manage financial data, especially with using brokerages or other financial institutions. They're going to give you very static type things. It's basically, you only have so much limited interaction. I'm sure with the Pro Tools, there's a lot of other things you can do, but if you know how to make a graph and you have data, you can kind of do anything you want with this. So I think this is cool because you can monitor changes in the stock market, monitor trends, and actually take action on it, such as, if a stock drops, you can do buys, or if it's too high, you can sell, or even do options and other financial stuff. So you could see in this example, it's actually with Snapchat on the New York Stock Exchange, and this was, I think, in November of 2019, and you could actually see how many shares were being traded throughout the day. And if you are interested in creating web apps as well, this could be the start of a financial web application, all within Postman Visualizer. So the next example I have here is with testing, and that's with using JSONPath and XPath for filtering. I'd first like to give a shout out to Danny Dayton. He inspired me after he made this visualizer first. I made I guess you could say, its sister visualizer using XPath or for XML responses. So whenever I've done XPath or JSONPath, I never get it right the first time. I really need to test it out against the actual data. So with Postman here and Visualizer, what's really made it cool is I can just have a visualizer template that imports these libraries for JSONPath or XMLPath or XPath. And I just click send to get my response from whatever web endpoint that's hosting the data. And I just have to start typing in this tab right here. And I could actually start to see my data as I do it. So if I'm getting it wrong, you can see nothing's going to come up. But if I'm getting it right, it's going to show me, what I need to see. So then I could use this for future tests in my test script, or I could use it even in a web app that I'm building and put it on a web server. So this really makes it convenient because I don't have to keep typing it out and clicking enter and then clicking enter and then clicking enter to see if I'm right or wrong. It helps simplify and shorten that workflow. And this will kind of lead into the last example that I have with Postman Visualizer, and arguably one of my cooler ones. So with Visualizer, I'd say this is a web app. I visualize a web app. So you could do web scraping with Cheerio.js and with Bootstrap. So Cheerio.js is kind of like a jQuery for the web server. And it's supposed to be better in many ways. But I've worked with JS because it works well with markup languages such as HTML and XML. And you've heard me talking quite a bit about XML, so I have a lot of experience with XML and using it with Cheerio.js. So I kind of did some Googling, and I'm like, I wonder if I can web scrape with Cheerio.js. And lo and behold, I was able to find a Medium article that showed me exactly how to do that with this website, remoteok.io, as an example. So I took that and I basically ported it and threw it into Visualizer. And in this example, all I did was send a simple GET request to remoteok.io as if I was visiting the website. And then you just get a bunch of HTML back. And from there, I went into the test section and I just started writing a bunch of Cheerio.js code in order to pull out certain elements. So these are cards that they have here for specific remote jobs. And all I did is I took the job name and I took the company name and even the apply button and the actual description, and I threw it into these cards here. So you could see Bonfire was hosting a job for a product manager, One Care Media is hosting a job for a senior digital designer, and you can actually see the contents in there. So this could be powerful if you're especially trying to create your own web scraping service that actually goes out to other websites and pulls out remote jobs or different jobs. And also can see if it's powerful to, if you're looking for a certain job type and you want to kind of get an alert when a job changes, or let's say a certain job provides you with a salary that's within your requirements. And so with all this, with Visualizer, you can do this right within here and honestly get started on a web app that's even more powerful than just what you could do with it in Visualizer. So I know I have a few minutes, and if I'm looking to wrap this up and provide some time for you guys for questions. In my opinion, Visualizer is more than just seeing charts and graphs. Because Visualizer is a embedded web browser in the Postman, so for any of you who answered that, you got it right on that end. Anything you can do on the front end with web browsers such as Chrome or Firefox, but anything you do in front end coding, you can basically do with Visualizer. It's not everything, but it's most things. You can do things such as testing and micro app development, just as I've shown you above. And it really honestly scratches the surface, because there's many more things you can do with Visualizer, and many videos I still hope to make that use Visualizer. So in this end, you can build and test your web app from start to finish with Postman and Postman Visualizer. So just to recap it all, Postman Visualizer is more than meets the eye, because it's not just what you can see with data, but what you can do with data and act on data and actually work with the data itself, all within Visualizer. For your references, I used a lot of the Learning Center and visualizing responses pages in the actual Learning Center to help me build this stuff. I wrote a Visualizer blog post on this content, and it's why I made the presentation. And you could look on my YouTube channel as well, or my public workspace, which I don't have a link in here, but you could find my public workspace that has any other collections I've made, but also the 3 examples I've used here. And with that, I'd say that about covers everything. I'm open for questions if anyone has any. And actually, I should probably check Slido.
Yes. Well, thanks so much, Orest. I see a couple questions in the chat section. Someone asked if you can share the links mentioned on the slide. So if you have them available, if you wouldn't mind sticking them in chat, that would be great.
Sure.
Someone just did.
Definitely.
I am actually about to run to my next session, but like I said, this session will stay open. So if anybody else has questions, feel free to put them either in chat or in the Slido Q&A section. So thank you so much, Orest. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate you introducing me, Amelia, and I'll go ahead and answer these questions right now, and
awesome.
Hopefully take care of everyone. All right, thanks for joining, and thanks for presenting.
Thank you.
Or introducing me. All right, so for